Okay, today we want to look at some of the models of Ambidex reels. They were built by J.W. Youngs, but badged by Alcox as well as other manufacturers under the own J.W. Young name. They were called the Ambidex. The very first produced actually were handmade pre-production models. They had the same plate as the early production models, called a casting reel. It wasn't yet numbered 1 or 2 or anything like that. It only had a single side plate on the left hand side, no plate on the right hand side, and this plate was made of brass with raised lettering. A simple fixed handle, not folding, but the way to recognize these very earliest ones, which were, as I say, handmade, and they were actually numbered in batches of 200. I don't know how many batches were produced, but you can tell them quite easy because they have a nut on the end of the handle shaft, and you can see it's one piece. Later models came with, so the shaft has got a male thread on each end. Later ones, there was a screw hole, so the shaft had female holes, and you had a spacer, and the end was a screw which went into that hole. And so there were 2 separate pieces. You can see this is one piece and not a separate spacer, and that's an indication. The screws, many of the parts inside were often brass in the first pre-production models. You have this wartime crinkle finish paint on the body, and the flyer is always not crinkled but just smooth black paint. And if you undo this and lift off the side plate, you can see inside this one has 2 of the capstan nuts which have to be removed to remove the flyer, and you see this is brass and a bronze spring here. But these earliest ones, as you can see, they've been numbered. This has the number 63, so this is number 63 of a batch of 200. They hadn't started to put on an anti-reverse lever or anything on there. And of course they were in the what we call a humpback style of body. The earliest ones had this hump. There is also other places which have got the same number. If you remove the flyer, on the front of the face of this piece is the number, and on the back of the flyer as well. And this cog here, not on this side but on the other side, so you have to remove it and you'll find the number there. So there's 4 places you'll find that number. So this is the earliest pre-production actually. So they're obviously quite difficult to find. You'll see also that these holes here for the screws are flush, so this can actually shift up and down like this. They later started to put a little collar around that hole, so they made the holes in the side plate larger to help position it better. This one is also an early one, numbered again. Somebody's polished the front flyer on this, taken quite good care of it. I don't know if they've resprayed it with the crinkly paint.